All right, DJ. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to be your host with the most this afternoon, this evening. This is going to be a powerful session. If you haven't really heard our story, you don't know who we are, haven't seen our badge, haven't seen this mission, you have been missing out. But today, you would definitely be blessed by this person that invited you. You're going to owe them lunch and dinner for a little while. Okay. So, without further ado, what we're going to be doing today is just giving you a snippet of who we are and what we're doing out here for communities. My name is Manker Bia. I'm the host today. How did I get on this campaign that you're going to be hearing about? I got on it because I was looking for the information, and as a aircraft technical engineer, I thought I knew about money, but I knew nothing about money, right? And at the stage that this organization found me, I literally was in debt and couldn't even get a credit card, right? That, to put myself more into debt. So, long story short, I came in, I learned why I couldn't even get a credit card, and I really started building my finances the right way. And 6 years, 6+ years now doing this, and really situations has gotten so much better for myself. And I'm actually now sharing the information with any and everybody that I come across. So without further ado, you're going to be hearing some two powerful presenters this evening. Okay. Starting off, we have my brother, Mr. Nana from Ghana. He is an amazing individual. I work with this guy at my office all the time. He's amazing. He's a father, and he's just passionate about what we do. So, without further ado, I will allow Mr. Nana to go ahead and start off. And we're going to be followed with a young lady who's 25 forever, and she's going to be talking to everybody today. All right. So, Nana, go ahead, brother. Kickstart this thing. You're muted. Don't let the mute button win.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Loud
All
and
right.
clear.
I thought I was still muted. Well, thank you very much, Menka, for such a kind introduction. As Menka said, my name is Nana Ado. I have been with this business for the last 3 years. Also technically 3 years, but then I joined finally 2 years ago, right? So I have been in this campaign, working so hard to make sure that all families have a solid financial foundation, right? So that's our mission, to be out there helping families, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we can get this all started. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, give me a second. Share my screen. Let's see. Is it moving? Okay. No workspace. Guys. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think somebody's sharing. So okay, I'm gonna share now. And let me know if you guys can see my screen.
We see it.
We'll start from the
Perfect.
beginning. All right. Okay. So you guys can see my screen?
Yes,
Good.
sir. See it. Put in
Okay.
presentation mode.
Yes.
In presentation. Okay, great. So what we're going to start talking about is that today we want to share some very powerful information with you guys, right? And the information that we're going to share is we're going to talk about the basic principles of building a solid financial foundation. Why is this so important, right?
No,
It's very
put in,
important because
no,
most
no,
of the time, most
no,
of
no.
us, sometimes we feel we know everything, right? But this information is really going to change our perspective about how money works and why sometimes some of the things that we feel we know, we don't know, right? So it's going to change your perspective of the importance of building a strong financial foundation and how to do that. Okay. So one of the key things I want to talk about is that in the world that we live today, we have
No,
a
no.
lot of
Put in presentation mode. You're not in
okay,
presentation.
okay, got it. Let me kill this one off and then bring it back again. All right. Okay. Let me reshare
Mhm.
and let me make sure that you guys can see it. I think when I put a presentation, when it goes into the wrong screen. So let me do it again. Let me stop sharing and I go to a better screen. So screen number 2. This one should be better. Is it good?
Perfect. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Okay. All right. So the next one, the next slide I want to talk about is some of the challenges that we are facing today, right? Now, one of the key challenges that we face today in the world that we live in is because of some of the decisions that we make. As human beings, it's very easy for us to make very poor decisions in our lives. All right. And sometimes when you meet people and you want to talk to them, and you want to talk about finances, first of all, they're not even interested in their financial future, right? Because you know why? Because they feel that every day is going to be there for them. They feel that they're never going to grow, and they feel that time is not of the essence, right? So they make decisions not thinking about what is going to happen tomorrow, or how the decision that they make today is going to impact what is going to happen to them tomorrow. So that's number one. Some of the challenges that we face today also is increase in debt. We live in a world that, you know what, we depend on credit cards. People depend on debt, right? They pile it up every day. So that's one thing that we need to think about and start putting the brakes on those things, right? And also, majority of Americans that we live in the world today live paycheck to paycheck. I learned very, very the hard way that it doesn't matter how much money that you make, you can still be poor if you don't make the right financial decisions. You can make as much as you want, but if you don't take care of your decision that you make today and how you spend, you continue to live paycheck to paycheck, right? Most Americans don't also have an emergency fund, right? They don't know they need to put money to aside so that just in case something happens, they need an emergency happens, they can tap into it, right? What if you lose your job today? Do you have something that you can hold on to for the next 6 to 12 months before you get hold of something else or something new, right? That's one thing. That's one of the challenges that we face today. Another challenge that we face today is that people don't set goals, right? Like I said from the beginning, we live the day by day. So, oh, today, tomorrow will take care of itself. And that's one of the things that it can really, really impact us in the decision that we make today. And we also spend a lot, right? There's so many attractive things that come our way every day in your inbox, in your phone, everywhere. There's so many flashy things telling you to buy. And because we rely so much on credit cards, we can just go ahead and spend it and continue to balloon our debt. And then finally, most of us don't even have a budget. A lot of people don't have a budget. And that's a challenge that we face today that we feel that we need as a country. And that's why we are in this campaign to help people, to help families address some of these challenges that I have highlighted today. And why we need to do that is because in the world that we live today, if we don't tackle some of these challenges, it's going to be a burden and a problem to us when we get older. Because you know why? People are living much longer today than before, right? And here's some of the things that is happening today is that there's lower birth rates. There are more single parents. There's increasing health concerns. People are not really dying as they used to. There's appropriate housing and supervision, transportation, mobility, wealth transfer, health directives, financial security, social security, savings, taxes, and all these things are challenges in the aging world today because people are not making the right decisions today, thinking that they're going to be young forever. No. When today ends, today is not coming back again. So the question that we need to keep asking ourselves is that are we too busy today during the first part of our lives or the first of our lives to prepare for the second half of our lives? So as I outline the challenges that we face today, and then as we get old, if we don't make the right decisions as we get old, then guess what? We have to live with the consequences. And nobody wants to do that. So this campaign is, as you are here today, and as we are in the field, we want to make sure that people wake up to some of these challenges and make sure that we are helping them prepare for the future, right? And how do we do that? One of the key things of making sure that we are helping you prepare for the future is building a strong financial foundation. Most of the time when I meet people and I talk to them, I said, hey, we have 4 different pillars of a strong financial foundation. Number one is for protection, debt management, emergency fund and investment. Most of them will build this up in a different way. Most of them will start with investment. But here's the thing. What if you build all these assets and then one day, God forbid, something happens to you? What happens to it? They go in flames because you have no protection. What if you get hit? What if you get sick? That means all this will be dwindled out. And then guess what? Your debt is going to go up. You don't have no emergency fund. So even if you decide to do an investment, because that's what most people do when you ask them, oh, I've done investment. So what happens? All the money over there has been dwindled out, right? So one of the key things that we do is to help make sure that without a strong financial foundation, your financial house won't stand, because it's just like building a house. One of the key things about building a house is that when you enter a house, you don't even actually see the foundation, because that's the hidden part that you don't know. But then guess what? If the foundation is not strong, the house is going to collapse. So the information that we provide here is, as, as you get with the person that invited you, the question is that how do you build that? Because if you look at these four blocks, that building blocks that we have here, one of the key things is protection. And we say that in your situation today, maybe you don't know, but we help you plan to make sure that at least you have 10 times your annual income preserved, and that risk is transferred to somebody else to take care of that risk in case, God forbid, something happens to you. The goal of this campaign is to make sure people are debt free. So we sit down with you, we do a PFS, we see where your debt is, and we have different many tools that's going to help you to make sure that we find a path for you to reduce your debt so that you can build an emergency fund after that. And then finally, that's where you can do it to do most of your investment. And we recommend that you do 20 times your current income if you want to retire in a happy way. You want to have a solid retirement. A retirement that doesn't require you to go out there and keep working, even though the time that you are supposed to travel the world and enjoy time with your friends and family, and hopefully your grandchildren. So without that, your house is not going to stand. But then with this in mind, we also have concepts that will help us understand these principles that I've just discussed. And one of the first concepts that we talk about is the X curve, right? So the question that people ask every day, what is this curve? What is this X curve concept? It's a concept, but without any action, it will never become a reality. So first of all, as you look at this curve, it's in the form of an X. You have a blue curve that is going from the top to the bottom, and you have a green curve that is going from the bottom to the top. Both of these two are concepts that we feel that everybody must follow. The first one, if you look at the blue line going from the top to the bottom, is that on the left side is where most people find themselves if you're not yet in retirement. Because at that point in time, you haven't put together so much. So we always require you that you need to take care of your family. And how do you take care of your family? Is making sure that you have proper protection. So on the dime method, we give you a way for you to be able to do what? Calculate what you need to protect yourself and take care of your family when you find yourself on the left side of this curve. On the green part, we're saying that, hey, we also provide you with resources and products that is going to help you make sure that you start taking care of yourself so that you make sure that when you get older, when you retire, that's where you're going to build your wealth. So we have principles and concepts that is going to also help you make sure that putting aside something today is going to lead for you to build up so that make sure that when you get to retirement, you would have built up your wealth. So on the left side, we said, number one, your debt. We talk about how much, 10 times your income, your mortgage, education. That means if your kids are still in school, most of the time you're still, you want your kids going to school, and then you have a mortgage, and then you have an income, and sometimes you have debt. All this have to be paid. God forbid something happens to you. So the favorite quote that my SMD always says that, number one, when you're left side, you are young, you are healthy. On the right side is when God willing, you get to that point, and now you are happy, you've built enough wealth. But then somewhere in between, what do you have debt and have a life? Then what happens to you? If you don't have all the protection, then guess what? You're going to struggle, and you might never get to the other side of the curve. Every one of us will go through this. Either, God forbid, you die early, God blesses you, you live long, and somewhere in between, you get sick. What we provide, the solutions that we provide for families is tailored to make sure that in the event of any of this happening, you'll be taken care of. So that's why we say take care of a family on your left side and start putting something together. So on the right side, when your responsibility is down, right, the blue curve is going down on the and then also the green curve is going up. You've built your wealth, and then now guess what? Because of the decisions that you made when you're on the left side, now guess what? Your responsibility is now very low when you get to the right side, so you can enjoy retirement peacefully. Okay, so moving to the next one, we talk about controlling debt. Right. So one of the key things is that sometimes in this country that we live in in the industrial world, we depend on a lot of credit cards, because they bring it all to you. Every day you get something in your mail and saying that, hey, you've been pre-approved, right? And it's easy for you to just get into it because sometimes you feel it's free money, but you're going to pay at the end of the day. One of the things that we do, one of the resources that we use to help families come to control their debt is something that we put together called a debt roll-up. All right. So as you can look into your screen, you can see that this is something that somebody took only $100 extra every day, every month, and took that extra dollars. And then guess what happened? He applied that extra $100 to his credit. So as you can see on the screen, the first credit card, this is the debt. So you have somebody paying $2,957 every month for all this debt currently. We found $100. We sat down with that person. That's why doing a PFS is very important. We sat down and say, hey, I have seen this $100 here. We can help you save $100. And then guess what? We're going to apply this $100 to all this debt that you have. And so through that application, we're able to reduce your payment, your 30-year payment that you were paying $2,900 a month, $957 a month, down into only 17 years, right? And then so with that, guess what happened? You paying now the 2,900 that you're paying now is only for 17 years compared to the 2,800 you're paying that you're going to pay for 30 years. So that's some of the things that we offer families when we sit down with them, right? We do a PFS for you. So it's very important that when we come to you and we sit down with you, or whoever invited you will sit down with you and show you how to go out there and help families to make sure that they are reducing their debt. Their total balance from that before was about 400,000, and now that debt was reduced to about 200 something thousand. Okay, so it's very important. This principle is very important for us. So we talk about how to reduce your debt, how somebody found $100 to reduce their debt, right? The next one that we wanted to also talk about is compound effect of money, because guess what? In the X curve, we talked about how you can get from the left side of the curve to the right side. But to get to the right side, there are some things that you need to consider. And one of the rule that we have when we sit down with clients and we talk about the financial foundation is the rule of 72. Most people have never heard of this principle before, but let me explain to you. So this principle is very, very important. What it says that if you divide 72 by any instrument, financial instrument that you get, and divided by the interest rate tells you how many years your money is going to take to double. So where you put your money is very important. If you put your money somewhere that interest is not enough, guess what? It's going to take you a lot of years to grow your money or to double your money. So if you look at this on the screen right now, you're going to see that, guess what? When you have put something, you put your money somewhere that you have a 6% interest rate, it's going to take you 12 years for you to double your money. So keep that in mind. 8 years interest, 8% interest, it takes you 9 years, and then 10% interest takes you 7.2 years, right? So where you put your money is very important, right? A very good example when we talk about the real rate of return is you save your money. So let's say you save $100, and out of the $100, you are in an interest of 5%. So that way, that means you have $5. But by the way, we all have a favorite uncle who always come back and say, hey, I need part of this interest that you got. So you do that, and then now you have to pay for, and then the cost of inflation comes into play, right? So you have to account for inflation. So the actual return after tax and inflation is less than 1%. But guess what? You had 5% interest. And now all that interest is wiped away. So the concept, it said what? This concept does not issue a reference to specific any product, but it tells you and shows you how the power and the compounding effect of money is. And where you put your money is very important. So without those principles, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to build your wealth so that you can enjoy retirement when you are much older. And then we talk about saving for your future, right? So with this concept, we say, let's assume that your income is $60,000 a year, and you set aside 10% of this amount every month into an account that grows at some interest rate. So here we're going to assume that this account that you open in the next 30 years is going to grow at an 8% annual rate, right? So you save $500 every month. That's about $70 a day, and it compounds over time. So in 30 years, guess what? You will have 745,000. And trust me, guys, 30 years will come very quick. I can remember today what I was doing 30 years ago. Exactly where I was. It felt so like yesterday, but it's been 30 years. So the decisions that we make today is very, very important. In the same way, in the same 30 years, if you have put your money somewhere for 500 and you make at least 10% of that money, guess what happens? You will be a millionaire in 30 years. But how do we get there? The question is that we need to be disciplined. We need to be disciplined. Sit down with your financial professional, and we're going to show you how best to tailor your needs to make sure that you have the right discipline to be able to achieve this goal. Okay, so we've talked about time, we talk about compounding effect of money, and how the interest rate and saving for your future works. Now, what about inflation? What about inflation? Because these are the silent ones that nobody knows, because it's very intangible. We don't feel it, but it's there. It's real. Because guess what? A house in the 1970s cost about 23,000. Now a house today, probably the same size, costs about 500,000. That's a huge inflation right there. From the 70s to today, about 50 years ago, if you're looking at maybe the last 50 years. Gasoline, loaf of bread. So all these are going. So it's very important that where you put your money, you want to make sure that where you put your money is growing at a rate that is going to grow past inflation. Inflation is not projected to be growing about 3% every year. So just think about it. If inflation is going to grow about 3% every year for the next, let's say, 20 years, right? Then what is going to happen? There's going to be a time, guess what? If you don't put your money where that the money grows more than inflation and taxes, you would never achieve your goal. That's why we sit down with you as financial professionals to help you tailor your needs to make sure you are putting the money in the right places. Okay? Because inflation grows over time. And if you don't put your money in the right places, guess what? It's going to impact you. So as we continue to build some of these things, concepts, and use this concept for us to grow, one of the key things that we are talking about building a financial future, we talk about when building a house, you need to make sure all the aspects of the house, the foundation, the roof, electric, plumbing are all working together. So we are applying the same principle here, right? If you look on the left side, you have somebody who is confused. It's like, what do I do? I'm hearing all this information about taxes, assets, estate planning, protection, all these different things. But guess what? That is where WSB, WFG, financial professional, that's where we come in. That's where we come in to sit down with you and talk about how we can put all these things together, how we can make it all make sense for you. So as you can see, as the agent came by and sat down with him, guess what? He also has a badge now. And now he's going to go out there and help families. We're able to set everything straight with the estate planning, secure your assets, make sure you're prepared for retirement, put your money where you don't have to pay taxes, make sure you have the right educational plan for you and your kids, the protection, budgeting, and then make sure that you have your liabilities in check. All right? So With this, we're going to move on to the next stage, whereby we're going to talk about actual managed growth, whereby how the money, where we put our money and how this money actually grows and how much it works for us, and some of the products that we offer for our clients. So with that, I'm going to bring in this awesome partner, my SMD, who I've always listened to and who has been kind of the shield and always protecting me and giving me all the nuggets for me to be successful in this business. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Dali Josipovic. Take it away, Dali.
All right. Yes, you can stop sharing the screen. Thank you so much, Mr. Nana. Appreciate you. Thank you all for being here. Once again, my name is Dali Josipovic, and I am a senior partner here. I've been on this financial literacy campaign now for how long has it been? 17 plus years, right? And I'm so thankful to see each one of you here with us tonight. And like Mr. Nana shared, everything that we're sharing with you, it's coming from this book. If you guys can see my face here, it's actually coming from this book. It's called Saving Your Future. So everything that we're actually sharing with you here today, it is actually from our Saving Your Future book. And this book is actually in many different languages. It's English, Spanish, Chinese, and Vietnamese. And also the good thing about this information is that you will be able to get this book from the person who invited you here today, and also our information about our workshops that we have, so you can actually learn and understand. And our financial literacy campaign has been sharing this information all over the country, which I'll share with you a little bit in a minute. So as you can see, Mr. Nana shared with you, how do we build a strong financial foundation? He shared with you about X-curve concept, right? How many of you are thinking about that? Ooh, what if I die too soon? Ooh, what if I live too long, right? And what if I'm half dead and half alive? Scary part, isn't it? It really woke me up. And yes, as we can see now, we want to build our financial house, and many people are in a chaos because it's kind of hard to put it all together. Especially, have you guys ever built a house where a plumber, electrician, and a roofer and an interior person are working together build a house? How many of you think it's going to be a strong house? Not really, right? So as we move on now, the next thing we want to talk about, building that financial house, where do most people want to put their money? How many of you, by raise of hand, want to put your money where there is a safety? Any of my safe guys? Okay, I see safe people, right? We want to put a money safety, because why do we want to have safety? But we also have to understand with safety, what do we have? We have the low interest, right? Melody, and I see you changing your lips, sharing your lips with us, right? So we have a low interest rate. And then also a lot of people want to put their money where, Mr. Keith? Yes, where they can grow, right? Why? Because what? Ooh, yes, they will love to grow, because if market goes up, yes, we can go up. But if market, we got a high interest rate, but if market goes down, we do have a opportunity to lose money as well. And then a lot of people, what they want to do really and truly, it is, would you like to have both? Growth and safety, right? If market goes up, you can gain, maybe after a certain limit or even beyond. And also if markets go below or crashes, you never lose a dime, right? We want to be able to have that growth and the safety. And so in America, there's actually 3 places that people put their money when it comes to taxes. 3 places. So one is called tax now, and then we have tax later. Okay. And a lot of our money is placed either in tax now, tax later, or tax advantage. So let's look at this. Tax now, what is that? Melody, and that is your checking, savings, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, Bitcoin, Yarday. Okay, that is really being taxed when? Now, right? And then what else do we have? We have the next one, which is actually what? Tax later, Ayla, and that is your 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, annuity pensions, which really you don't have to pay taxes on it right now, Brenda, but you will pay tax later. You don't have to pay tax on a seed, but you will pay tax on a harvest, Christy. And then the next thing we do have is tax advantage, right? And this is really where, Violet, you actually, you don't have to pay tax on the actual seed. No. You don't have to actually pay tax at all on the seed You pay tax on the seed, sorry, but you don't have to pay tax on the crop. So that is your Roth IRA, 529, HSA accounts, and also LIRP, life insurance, retirement savings, and long-term care benefits. So this is how the taxation system in America works. And of course, like Mr. Nana said, when you do sit down with the person who invited you, and do your personal financial analysis, you're going to be able to see where are you or where you should be, because the goal here is to have what, Mary? We all want to have a growth and safety. Is that correct? Right? We want to be able to have those, because at the end of the day, we all want to be able to have a managed growth strategy. Is that true? We want to be able to have growth on our money, right? We want to be able to have safety on our money. Tax advantages, tax deferred tax advantage vehicles can play a big role, right? And also protection. We also want to be able to protect not only ourselves, our money, but also our assets. Okay. So when saving and investing, consider these 4 factors. So think about it tonight before you go to sleep, to ask yourself, where is most of my money in, right? Where is most of my money in? Where is it, right? So you want to be able to look into that. All righty. So let's move on to my next page. So I want to share with you an example, and I want to just say this, that we do have, and I will share with you topics in a minute. We as a financial organization, as a licensed professionals, we can actually offer various different products and services, literally from the cradle to the grave. If that is retirement, if that is insurance, if that is IRAs, for individual and businesses, we can actually offer services, and also going through our financial workshops, you will learn a lot more. But tonight, we're just kind of giving you just a little bit of introduction. And so right now, what I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you a financial vehicle, which is actually a life insurance. But this vehicle is pretty cool because it's going to show you opportunity where you can actually have those 4 things: growth, safety, tax advantage, and protection. And so I want you to pay close attention. Recently, let's see, it's right here. Okay, great. So I want to show you here. I want to actually show you here. This is actually a person who is 30 years old, okay, female, good health. And this person is going to have a $500,000 life insurance policy, okay? And they're going to pay $500 a month. Now, it does not cost them $500 a month, but sitting down and really understanding how to save money and how to build their wealth, they want to be able to do that. So if you look at here, this is actually a policy year of this person. So let's say I start this, I'm 30 years old, I started. So basically next year I'll be 31. And every year I'm actually contributing $6,000, which is $500 a month. And the good news is that if market crashes, I never lose a penny. I can actually have a 0.75% gain, Mr. Minker. I never lose a dime. But also I can actually have unlimited or even 13.5% growth potential where, I can actually grow. But of course here, we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. We're just showing you historical rates. So this actually rates are based on 7.25%. So I want to move forward just basically 20 years from now. Let's just say this person is now 50 years old. They contributed $120,000, and what happens here is that they have accumulated tax-free $169,000, compounding interest. And in the case of something happened to this person, in the case of that family will receive $669,000 tax-free money beneficiary will receive. But the best thing about it, what this has actually, that long-term care. Do you guys remember when Mr. Nana talked about that X curve? And he said, what if you are half dead and half alive in the middle? And God forbid something happens. And it could be somebody who's 18-year-old. It could be a, married person. It could be a single person, young or old. It could be a business owner, professional, that something happens and you cannot function anymore. You cannot do 2 out of 6 things: shower, eat, transfer, move yourself, or whatnot. You know what? And the good thing about this, that you can actually, if you qualify for long-term care after 90 days, you go through the procedures with your doctor and get letter of instruction, you can actually qualify for 2% long-term care, 2% off of the $500,000. Okay. So that's from day one, as long as you are approved. So 2% off of $500,000. What is that? Anybody can tell me?
10K.
10,000, right? 10,000. Thank you so much. So that's $10,000. Okay. So now let's move on to the next. Okay, let's just see. All right, let's move on to the next page. So what I want to show you here is, and one thing that you will learn as you go through our classes and workshop, that time matters, okay? We're going to teach you a formula of building wealth once you go through the classes and workshops. But I want to show you here, if you can follow my cursor, it's same principle here. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger here so that way you can see it, okay? So here we go. We have actually contributed $500 a month. So here we go, instead of 20, 35 years down the road, here we go. We are 65, okay? We are 65 years old. We have actually contributed, Mr. AP, $210,000 in this policy, right? And what happened, Mr. Manker, that we actually have accumulated $540,000 compounding interest, tax-free money. This money can be used for whatever it's needed to be used, but the best time is that there is a over $1 million policy that can be, transferred to the next generation, tax-free if something would have happened to us. But let's just say, we prepare this. We're like, you know what? Nothing is going to happen to me. I want to make sure my kids are good. Or maybe you don't even have kids. That's quite all right. Maybe you're a business owner who wants to build a tax-free retirement. That is quite all right as well. So what you can actually do to say, hey, listen, Dali, this is all nice and dandy, but you know what? I want to start enjoying what I've been saving. Okay. Kids are going to be fine. Everything going to be fine. Sure. No problem at all. Well, you know what? Here at 65, you say, I want to you can actually start taking $36,000 a year. Okay. Off of this policy to be able to take it out. So if you look at here, right? Even if something happens, you already, for this, from 36 to 90, from 66 to 90, you took out here $690,000. And in the case of debt at that time is actually how much the beneficiary still receives the money. So I'm just showing this to you in the detail so you can understand it. And let me just summarize this for you, okay? Summary here, what you actually pay, what you get. So here you are, determined to really, really stop paying yourself and stop spending out there and doing lattes and coffees and eating out like a lot of us do, right? But you want to pay yourself $500 a month. Maybe you will feel like you worked 1 hour of your day, right? Or 1 hour of your pay, really, for 35 years. So what you actually paid is $210,000. And of course, growth is, it could be uncapped or up to 13%, depending which vehicle we pick and choose. Safety, what I love about it, that you never lose a dime, you never lose a penny, your money is safe. And also tax advantages, right? We talked about different tax brackets, and obviously this belongs to the middle tax bracket here. But here, for example, we saw that by age 65, there was a $540,000 that we could do whatever we needed to do with it. We don't have to be sick to leverage that. We saw also at age 66, if we want to start taking money out, that we actually could take out $36,000 a year, we draw, and up to age 90, we literally took out what we put in and everything, $900,000. I don't know about you, but I'm willing to actually cut that Starbucks or cut eating out to actually start paying myself and preparing. And of course, the best part here, we do have that protection where we have the death benefit, of course, between $500,000 and $1 million, depending when the person dies. But of course, it could be from, as soon as we are approved or till, God decides to take us home. But one of the things that really is, to me, cherry on the top, it is that long-term care, friends, because we never know what could happen tomorrow. And I just want you to think about it before you go to sleep tonight. Maybe you experience long-term care, but can you actually lift your loved one, carry them to the bathroom, bathe them, shower them, feed them, for 9 months, 6 months, or even just pick them to take them to the bathroom, because that's really long-term care. And of course, we cannot depend on government to do that. So this is just one of the vehicles, and this is a life insurance. And of course, as a licensed professionals, we do, and you will learn that through our workshops, we offer all types. It doesn't matter if it's temporary or permanent, we have them all. But we just wanted to show you the one that actually gives you opportunity to have growth, safety, tax advantage, and protection. We also help clients. Let's, for example, they do have money sitting in certain places, and maybe in old 401ks or just cash money sitting somewhere, where we can actually take that money and we can actually place it. For this example, this is actually a 7-year annuity, where also same thing applies. If you have a growth and safety, you don't have to worry about losing money. Of course, taxes vary depending where the money is coming from. But let's just say you have a $200,000, you put it in, and let's say you leave it here in 7 years. And this is basically just to show you, of course, I cannot tell you exactly what's going to be, but if we look at the historical, most 10 years, actually, that 200,000 could actually go to 446,000. If you look at the highest index, right, in last 10 years, it could have gone to 468. And if we look at the lowest index, it could be going to $337,000. What is this to tell you? That your 200,000 maybe sitting in a CD, or maybe sitting in an old 401k, or maybe sitting somewhere that is not being productive. Maybe you're losing money. We can actually place that money and do what with it? Hey, let it grow. You know, you have the potential to grow. The good thing is no loss at all whatsoever. There's no fees to you neither. So, you know, we as licensed professionals, we don't charge you any fees. So there's no fees to that. And of course, you do have, depending where the money is coming from, either you have a tax deferred or you have a tax-free, you know, money at the end. So this is just another one of the vehicles. So you might know somebody who's about to retire, or somebody who has money sitting. How can we make sure that that money works for them, right? There's also income guarantee opportunities where somebody want to say, listen, Dali, I don't have a pension plan. Yes, Miss Donna, my kids will not be there to be my pension plan. I want to secure my pension plan, right? And I have a little bit of money, but I want to do something with it. Sure, no problem. We can work with that as well. So in this case, hey, you know, somebody wants to live this. This is a contract for 9 years. Same here, 200,000. And what can we do here right off the get-go? We're putting this 200,000 here. But the good news here is that, you know, this actually right away off the back, you have a 30% bonus. So my friend, some people lost a lot of money recently, didn't they, Menker? Imagine, Mr. Nana, they take that 200 and they placed it in off the back. They have 260,000. Is that good? That is good. And guess what? If they don't need, this is, of course, for a person who really doesn't need the money, they want to leave it maybe for 9 or even 12 years. They want to leave the money. They don't need it right now. But if they leave it every year that they leave it in, guess what? They're going to be able to receive 9.5% compounding interest. Do you guys get that? 9.5 compounding interest. What does that mean? That means, right, Mr. Emmanuel, where interest is growing on top of the interest, Melody, where your money is compounding and growing, right? Better than a credit card. Credit card compounds the opposite way, right, to the negative side. So when you look at this, our clients have the flexibility here to turn off and on whatever they decide. But the good news is that they can turn that 200,000, you know, to, I mean, whatever they decide. And the best part about it, they can turn it on to a lifetime income. And once they start receiving that lifetime income, guess what? That lifetime income will never stop until they drop. Let me repeat that one time. That income will never stop until they drop. Once the person is gone, income will stop. So here we go, same scenario, what you pay is what you get. If this person puts 200,000, let's say age 55, right? Here we go, they have a bonus, compounding income base right away. And this is again, for somebody who just wanna sit to leave the money and make sure that they never go without money and they don't want to lose money, and they do have a lifetime income, you know, basically at 67, if they start taking that money out, you know, they're going to be able to take 36,000 a year for the rest of their life. And of course, that benefit is there as well. In the case they die, of course, the family will receive. So there's a lot more scenarios. I'm not going to take that much time with that, but here's another one. This is a long-term care, asset care. If somebody, them and their spouse wants to be able to have a long-term care together, you know, they're going to be able to receive lifetime long-term care. That's another one that is available for all of us, unlimited long-term care, as long as they're with you know, with the company, as long as they're alive. And as you can see, if they pay 150,000, you know, this is not for death benefit purposes, but really for lifetime income. So My friends, all of that I share with you, we do not recommend to you or anyone till we actually really understand your situation. Where are you at currently? Where do you want to be? How can we help you to get there? And that's why we actually conduct a personal financial strategy. It's a free financial checkup that we do. And person who invited you here, they can email you a fillable form. I suggest, and this is not for them. It's actually for you and your family, your spouse. The best thing is to do it with your spouse to kind of see where you are and where you want to be. Honestly, this one here saved my life, saved my marriage, because a lot of times we're so caught up living it and we forgot to really focus to see where we at and how we're going to get to retirement. And so I want to encourage each one of you to take a look at this. This is the best way the person can assist you and give you the best solution, because it's just like a doctor, right? Doctor, if you go to an emergency today, they will not prescribe you pain medicine. Right, Ms. Yarde, they're going to ask you all kinds of questions, do the blood work and everything before they prescribe you anything. Same thing with us as a licensed professionals. We like to get to know, and then at the end of the day, we can quote unquote prescribe what the person needs. It might be a debt management, might need a protection, might already have some things in place that we can review and keep it as they are. We don't know, but we want to do a good job for them, right? But you don't have to worry, because us here as partners, we actually literally from the cradle to the grave, we're able to take care of families from all aspects. If it is retirement, if it is annuities, if it is, life insurances, if it is estate planning, if it is health insurance, Medicare, speak with person and long-term care solutions, college planning, we can actually guide as a licensed professional. But our best part that we have here, and that really what separates us, we actually bring financial workshops and education to you and your families, your church, your community, your businesses, colleges. We have done it all over. And so these financial workshops, you can see on the right-hand side, the topics, and the person who invited you here can actually share with you a little bit more. We do have a workshop book. Today, I'm just sharing with you introduction, but we actually have these rotations of these workshops. Every workshop is for itself. Like, for example, today was workshop number 3. So tomorrow, you have 3 opportunities, 2, 8, and 10 p.m. to attend workshop number 4, and then 5 and 6 and 7. We do have a 7 as well. It's all about Social Security, and you can continue. And to be very honest, my friends, this is really what's going to set you apart as a mother, as a father, as a human, right? To learn this information for yourself. And of course, if you do know someone in your organization or community or church or individual who's willing to learn and to attend our free financial workshops, let us know. Let the person know who invited you, and they'll be more than happy to assist you registering for the workshops. And we do have this introduction every Wednesday and Saturday in our financial center, at 10 a.m. on Saturdays and 7 p.m. So that's what I wanted to share. So before I actually close out here, I wanted to share one more note here with you, that right now, no matter where you are, based on situation that you're in currently, where you want to be, are you able to reach your goals? And so what I want you to consider here, we're building 3 different relationships here. One relationship we're building is we want to be able to help you learn for yourself, get the education, come to free financial workshops, learn. Maybe you know a lot, maybe you can add more. Or if you really know a lot, maybe you can help us. Okay, help us help more people. The second relationship we have here, we want to help people, is to help learn and earn, right? Because you might be one of those individuals, you're like, hey, Dali, Nana, Manker, this is really cool. I really want to help more people. I want to help my friends, my family, my community, my church, my partners, or whatnot. And I want to also help myself. I want to have that passive income, active income we can make, clock in and clock out, but how can we have that passive income? And if you are one of those who want to have a multiple sources of income, or you're just, looking for plan B, or, you want to plan for your future, let us know, be more than happy to have you be part of our campaign, because financial services industry is actually second paid after entertainment, and we will help you get your professional license. Right now we have a humongous discount that you can study for your professional license online, on Zoom, on your free time. And as you're a licensed professional, everything that we just share with you and providers and companies, you'll be able to get affiliated with, and also you'll be able to get compensated. How many of you trained somebody at your job and got compensated? Anybody, right? Sometimes they hire new people, you train them, right, Melodine? And guess what, Miss Veta? They don't compensate you for that. But here, what I love is that, you do get compensated. Nothing wrong with that. You help someone else get to their goal because, if you go over there, there is what they call a traditional model. This is you go out there, you can go by yourself, and make that $100 by your own effort. But you know what? There is a building model where you can take the $100 and guess what? You can actually, get yourself 80 and you can have one more person working with you and guess what? They can get 20. So that is actually a building model where we believe that actually, you yourself, you can go out, help yourself, but you know what? If you have more people working with you, company will actually compensate you for training people, right? And they will, matter of fact, pay you for the rest of your life. So you're not just a lonely person making money by yourself, because we do know that health can give up. So if you have, 5 people working with you, and they can be right here in Atlanta or different state, you know what? You can actually build a income where even if you tomorrow not able to work, if you have 5 individuals that go to work and company compensate you 20% for what they do, that's still 100%, isn't it? So I don't know about you, but Chinese proverb said, I would rather have 100% of I would rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own effort. So and actually when you work as a group, you even get compensated more and more. And the good thing is you actually help someone else get to that. And it's, as you can see, more people you actually working with, and you can actually be able not only to help yourself, but duplicate yourself and make a lot more money in that aspect, not just out of the $100, but you can actually make a lot more money and help someone else. And of course, this compensation plan and how this works is basically, you're going to be able to learn that. But just like, for example, Keller Williams with their real estate, just like, any other business, that's the same thing here. We actually help people get referred. But the beautiful thing is that everybody has an equal opportunity. Everybody can come in as an independent individual. And if they want to do it part-time or full-time, it's up to them. They can come on and learn. And you know what? They can make some serious income on monthly basis. Okay. And also for the future. And the beautiful thing here too, that not only, when you are well, that you can do this business, but what if you are sick? This is one of our partners here, Ray, that his story, he has been a passionate campaigner, and then life hit him, situation happened. And, he's just been helping families for many years. And you can see the dates and times and how much he has put in and traveled and assisted and helped. And, this is actually his personal, this is his personal claim, towards critical illness that he was able to receive. Okay. And in what they paid per month, since 2018, as you can see in one of the claims that they were able to pay out to him. And then there's basically 2 claims here. And then also in 2020, he got another one, 26K premium paid. Not only that, and that was left with the death benefit. So there he was able to use this while he was sick as a critical illness, right? To make sure that his bills are paid and he has somebody to take care of him as a benefit. But the best thing is that even though that he was not feeling well and he was, sick and whatnot, recovering from his treatments, he still that same year made over $230,000 in income with this organization. So that's just to tell you, yes, alone you can do so much, but together and with a team, we can do so much together because we can leverage each other. So that's just what I wanted to share with you, and what we actually have with you to kind of see where you at and where you want to be. We actually have this survey card, and this survey card, there will be electronic one, or just get with the person who invited you, that you can actually fill out. This card is not for anyone else, but it's for us, just basically to see where are you and where do you want to be, what are some of the questions that you want to, when do you want to retire? Do you want to learn about how money works? Or do you want to, understand some of the concepts? Do you want to go to financial workshops? Are you interested maybe to learn and earn and whatnot? And based on this survey, we will be able to follow up with you. And I just want to encourage you, next 24 to 48 hours, set up a time with person who invited you, not only to answer any questions that you might have, but also to see how you can start helping yourself and start attending our financial workshops. So thank you guys so much for being on tonight, especially to our guests. And we will see you. We will have the same presentation next Thursday, same on Zoom. So please touch someone and invite them to the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Dali.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.